The next one is from the AITA subreddit, and this one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Letting My Kids Disturb My Husband During an Important Work Meeting After He Said He Would Handle Them for a Day to Prove How Easy My Job Is? I think hubby might have FAFO'd in this one, folks. I'm 31 female, and my husband is 36 male. We have 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. My husband works in an office, and he has the option to work for a few days a week from home, but he prefers not to. He says it's easier to focus in the office. I run a small business from home. I don't have a lot of daily work, just some emails and planning, maybe 3 hours a day, but the business does make about 1/3 of our household income. Nice. But my younger son is home all day, and just dealing with him takes a lot of energy. He's really high energy and will probably wreck something if you leave him alone for an hour. And then the older comes home at 3, and both of them are with me until 8 or 9, which is when my husband usually comes home. A few days ago, I was really tired and I didn't make dinner. When my husband came home, I asked him if we could just order something. He was also tired, and we were both short-tempered, so we ended up snapping at each other. He said I should have at least ordered before he got home, and he was hungry. I said I forgot, and it's not fair that food is always my problem. He said that I'm home all day, and I even admit that I don't have much work to do, so I'm basically a stay-at-home mom and should at least take care of dinner. I'm going to go ahead and throw you some red flags here, sir, because saying somebody's only just a stay-at-home parent. Yeah, you only have the hardest job in the world. How dare you? I said he has no idea how much I do every day. And he said he'll handle the kids for an entire day while also working from home just to prove that it should be easy for me. I said, sure. So he made the arrangements to work from home yesterday. I slept in, and when I woke up, he was already frazzled from getting the older one ready for school. He ended up having to cancel a meeting to make breakfast and was worried about that. Then when he took another meeting later on, the boys went out to play in the yard and got super muddy and left footprints all over the house, which he then had to mop, and I didn't help at all. By this point, I did feel sort of guilty because it was definitely harder for him to take care of work at the same time, but all I wanted was an apology. He said he was doing this to show that I do nothing all day, and if he just admitted that he was wrong, I would have helped out straight away. Later on, he had another meeting, and he told the boys to not bother him for an hour. But about 20 minutes in, they got in an argument about something, and our younger one went into my husband's room to complain. He was really loud, and my husband's video was also on. Then he told the kid to leave him alone, but he was upset and crying and wasn't listening. After a few minutes, my husband went back to the meeting and apologized to other people. When it was finished, he was really angry at me. He said I could see what was happening and just watched him struggle without helping. I said all you had to say was, please help. He said I shouldn't be so petty and prideful. Oh, this guy! This probably made him look a bit stupid in front of his manager, but it was only a few minutes, and I don't think it was the huge deal he made it out to be. Okay, top comment here. I think he needs a few more weeks of working from home to really develop a routine, get into the groove of doing both his contracted job and the housework, childcare, and other domestic management at the same time. Maybe you could find an alternate site to work from and see if you can grow your business if given the opportunity to really focus on it. If a distracted 3 hours a day can provide 1/3 of your household income, you clearly have a great head for business. Imagine how much you could generate with a fully dedicated 8-hour day. Nailed it. Nailed it that time, damn it. Nailed it. I like how he doubled down to say that you were being petty and prideful by not helping him when all he had to do was say please. He didn't even have to apologize to get your help. He just had to say, please help. But he was too petty and prideful to do that, so he chose to make himself look like an ass in front of his manager. He made the choice multiple times by saying he wanted to do this just to prove that you ain't got shit. He wanted to do this to prove that you have pretty much no value and you're a lazy piece of shit. He wanted to do this to prove that being a stay-at-home parent is easy breezy and he could just cruise through this day and check every box and crush it all over the place. And then when shit went sideways, he chose to not engage your help by not asking. When the agreement, he knew what the agreement was. He knew that the agreement was he was going to handle this because it was his challenge. This wasn't even your idea. This was his idea. You're just like, cool, bet. You didn't jump in to rescue him because he didn't wave the white flag. And then for him to call you petty and prideful, that's where he climbed up all the way to here. It wasn't the fact that he failed. It wasn't the fact that he sank. It wasn't even the fact that he thought it was an easy job to begin with. I can see where all those things would happen. It was when he doubled down and called you petty and prideful for not jumping in and saving his ass when he was drowning, even though he didn't put his hand up so you could save his ass. That's when he became an ask on one for me. Being a stay-at-home parent is got to be the hardest job on the planet. It has to be, especially with 2 kids. Especially, I can't imagine having 2 rambunctious, high-energy boys that will destroy anything. Also, when is give me an hour, leave me alone? How old are these kids again? 5 and 7. I think 5 and 7 is probably a little too young to be like, give me an hour with no supervision and expect them to not wreck anything. Like already, dude, your crushing it is just choosing to not do it. I think he's an asshole. So the question was, am I the astronaut for letting my kids disturb my husband during an important work meeting after he said he would handle them for a day to prove how easy my job is? Hell nah. No. He let them. He let this happen. He made the choice for it to happen. He didn't even let it. He willed it. He decided this for you. I do love the idea brought up by that commenter, though, to be like, okay, now he sees how hard it is, but also you're able to kick some ass with a third of your income with while watching a kid and doing it with just 3 hours a day. You guys could really be growing and finding a balance here if you devoted some more time to that, and maybe he can devote some less time to this, or figure out a system where he can work from home. It depends on what you define as success. If I were in your position and I had the opportunity to define success as freedom, time, I'd lean into it. If there was a structure for your family that could be a 4 to 5 hour day where only one of you works and you guys are making just as much money as you did before, so you have more time together, more time with your kids, more time to enjoy life, there's a good conversation to be had here.